What if I become a doctor and I'm not still free? That thought hit me in the middle of a lecture, surrounded by the most hardworking people I've ever met. All of us on the same path, all of us moving towards the same destination. I looked around that room and saw my future, a clear one, a respectful one, and a meaningful one. And it still felt like a cage. I'm 18, I'm in my second year of college. I want to become a doctor and provide for my family. I want to become a doctor and see the world. I want to become a doctor and build something that is completely mine. Most importantly, I want to be financially free before I graduate. And the moment I said that out loud, even to myself, it terrifies me. I realized something so uncomfortable. Nobody around me was asking that question. Not because they didn't want those, but because somewhere along the path, we all quietly agreed that wanting the path was enough, that not wanting the path would feel so unrealistic, ungrateful, and being too much. Warren Buffett once said, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. I came across this quote in lectures one day, and my reaction honestly was like, okay, that's for the rich. Like, why would it bother me? Like, that's not my world yet. But when I actually sit with this, I realized Warren Buffett wasn't actually talking about the rich. He was actually talking about a trap that actually catches some of the most intelligent, some of the most hardworking, brilliant people in the world. People like doctors. Because here's what nobody tells you about when you actually enter medical school. You're training for one of the most respected profession on earth. You likely spend the rest of your life trading time hour by hour for money. And if something ever stops you from working, it might be burnout, it might be illness, your income stops. Buffett spent decades studying how wealth actually works versus how we are taught it works. And his whole life is built on this one idea. Build things that earn even when you are not in the room. And I heard that and thought, I want to become a doctor. And I also want this. So part one, this ceiling nobody warned me about. I want to take you to a very specific moment. Where we were in a lecture room, a big hall, hundreds of us, and I remember doing something I started doing a lot lately, looking around, not at the slides, at the people, and everyone was focused, everyone was dedicated, brilliant, honestly, and these people who worked incredibly hard to be in that room. But something sat heavy in my chest that I couldn't name. Every single person in that room was working towards the same exact thing, same degree, same path, and same destination, to be a doctor. I want to be careful here because I'm not saying that's wrong. And medicine is one of the most beautiful things a human being can dedicate a life to, and I believe that completely. But that day, I realized something that changed everything. How I see everything. The path we are on, a prestigious, purposeful path as it is, has a ceiling, a comfortable, respectful, and socially acceptable feeling. And most people never question this because why would you? You work so hard to be here, the path is clear, and the destination is so noble. Just keep going. But I kept thinking about my family, about what I actually want to be able to give them, about, traveling the world someday, which sounds small but represents something much more bigger to me, about the hospital I want to build one day in a place where good health is not guaranteed. So, and I realized the traditional path alone wouldn't get me there. Not because medicine doesn't pay well, but because medicine pays you for your time. And time is one thing none of us can make more of. In physiology, we study something called the rate limiting step. In any biological process, it could be respiration, it could be metabolism. So there's always a one step that's the slowest, like a bottleneck that controls the speed of everything else. No matter how fast every other part of the process runs, the whole system can only move as fast as that limiting step. So, and I think when I think about that concept constantly, when I think about the traditional career path, time is the rate limiting step of trading hours for money. You can be one of the most skilled doctors in the world and work harder than everyone around you, but you only have 24 hours in a day, and at some point you hit the ceiling, not because you're not good enough, but because the model itself has a limit built into it. The only way to break this limiting step in biology is to introduce a new pathway entirely, and that's what I'm trying to build. That realization honestly is what brought me here. So part two, the thing I was too afraid to say. So here's the part that is so hard for me to admit. For a long time, I kept this one very quiet, very internal, and I don't tell people I want to be financially free before graduation. I didn't tell people I was building a YouTube channel with real strategy behind it. I definitely didn't tell people I want to own a hospital one day because I already knew what they would say. You're dreaming too big, just focus on medicine. You're already doing something great. Why isn't that enough? And the hardest part I had to sit with is that sometimes I say this to myself, that voice that sounds reasonable, that sounds wise, Just be realistic. Don't spread yourself too thin. Stay focused. I used to think that voice was protecting me, keeping me grounded. But I started to think it was just fear dressed up in a practical language. Because here's what I noticed about people ahead of me on the traditional path, the ones who are 10, 15 years into medicine. A lot of them are honestly just tired. Not because medicine is bad, but because it became their everything, the only income stream, the only identity, the only plan. And when one thing carries the weight of your entire financial future, sorry, it stops feeling like a calling somewhere along the way. It starts feeling like something you can't afford to live. And that's not freedom, that's a golden cage. And I decided quietly at first that, then more loudly, that I wanted something more different. Not medicine or freedom, medicine and freedom. And here's the counterintuitive part or counterintuitive thing I had to learn, and this one is genuinely surprised me. Wanting both doesn't mean you are unfocused. It doesn't mean you don't take medicine seriously. It means you are thinking about sustainability in a way most people aren't brave enough to think about yet. Diversification isn't distraction, it's architecture. And the moment I understand that, the guilt I felt for wanting more started to loosen its grip on me. Part 3, the plan I'm building in public. So what am I actually building? Not eventually, right now. I started this channel, which sounds simple, but it was one of the most deliberate, uncomfortable decisions I've ever made, because starting means admitting publicly, permanently, in front of people who would watch, that I want more than one part, that I'm not willing to wait until graduation before I start building, that the version of my future I'm working towards look different from everyone around me. And that's vulnerable in a way I didn't fully anticipate. But here's the plan, and I'm sharing it publicly because I think there is power in saying big things out loud. Year one is to build this channel slowly, to learn about storytelling, to learn about scripting, to learn about everything there is to learn about personal branding, documenting the real thing, not a highlight reel. And then as I'm going further, turn what I'm learning into something that can actually beneficially help people in the future to do the same thing. A business built around personal branding, content, showing ambitious women how to build something that's completely theirs. These aren't hobbies. There are new pathways, the ones that break past the rate limiting step. I'm not telling you this because I have it all figured out. I'm telling you this because I think you might be on the same version of this too. Something you want that people around you haven't given you permission to want yet. And I want you to know you don't need their permission. Nobel Ravikant said, end with your mind, not your time. Naval thinks about freedom as a really fundamental level, not freedom as a luxury, freedom as a design principle. Something you architect deliberately, or you don't have it at all. What I love about this idea is that it doesn't ask you to abandon hard work. It asks you to redirect it, to build things that compound, skills that amplify, skills that multiply, audience that grow, value that doesn't disappear when you log off. Medicine shapes the mind, but the mind builds the freedom. And that's the equation I'm working to be honest with you before I go. I don't have financial freedom yet. I'm 18 years. I'm in my second year of medical school. And most times I generally just think whether I should just save my money or use it to or like spend it or something. So I want to leave you with one question today. What's the thing you want that you are pretending is too big to say out loud? Write it in the comments. Say the big things. I'll be reading every single one of them, and I'll see you in my next video.